welcome to the Freitas Effect. You are here with Azeb Freitas.
And Simon Freitas.
Welcome.
Hello.
Okay, cool. So we're going to start with what our podcast actually is. So Simon, would you like to kick us off with that?
Sure. Well, our podcast is, it's just a chill talk show style little ditty. Just hang around talking about real things that just happen with us, things we experience with our families or just in our everyday life with the people who are connected with us, and just trying to shed some light into these different kind of scenarios and situations. Anything else?
Yeah, so it was inspired by when Simon and I used to come home from school, and we would just be chilling and drinking tea and having really great conversations that were how do we deal with our parents and our family, but also how do we maneuver situations in life that other people are also probably going through as young 20-year-olds who are entering the professional world and entering the real world just as human beings and adults. So, we called it the Freitas Effect because our grandfather's last name is Freitas and it's Portuguese. But it's called the Freitas Effect because whenever we walk into a room, usually everybody leaves the room. But we wanted to reclaim it and kind of call it the retraction of that. So kind of the reverse of forming community.
What's it called? Rebranded the Freitas Effect.
Yes. So welcome to our show. Yay.
Episode 1.
Huh?
Episode 1.
Episode uno.
Of many.
Yes. Oh, also, we are both Ethiopian American.
And a lot of stuff.
Our mom is Ethiopian and our dad is American, white American. And that's all you need to know for now. You'll learn plenty more about them and about us and, about a bunch of other people and their stories. Yeah. So let's get into the first segment. It's called How the Tables Have Turned.
How the turns have tabled, all right? You cannot disrespect the first time we do this segment like that.
I'm sorry.
Any whomstead of. So before we get into this.
I don't even know what I said.
You said it right, all right? We are not doing things correctly. How the tables have turned.
Did I say how the tables have turned?
Yeah.
Drunk.
Girl. Anyway, so this segment is just a little plot twist segment. I don't mean to boost too much into my own self, but I live a very interesting life where random stuff just happens all the time, and this needs to be a part of the podcast. So this story actually isn't about me. It's about my grandfather, and this is one of my favorite stories about him. So this story is the reason why my family does not go out to dinner with my grandparents together anymore. So it was my dad and his immediate family, which is his sister and my grandparents and his brother. And they go to this place called Town Spa, which is an amazing pizza place that we still go to this day. And they're standing around the tables. It's the 70s, they're just waiting around, they're starving, and they get to the way that it worked was that people would they'd be against the walls, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be everyone goes
there's
their own
usually
turn.
a line this place is popping.
Yeah, and so the whole place is filled with people against the walls just watching you eat. And so my family is next in line. They're about to go to a table, and they go they're just standing there, and they see the guy at the next table that's opening up just starts waving over the man with the baby behind them. Yeah. And so my grandmother looks at my grandfather and just goes, "Are you going to let this happen?" My grandfather goes, "Oh, watch me." And my dad, my aunt, my uncle are just no, stop. And he just walks up to the guy. The guy is holding the baby in the middle of the restaurant, in front of everyone. Yep. My grandfather yells, "What are you trying to pull, fuckface?" So then the man with the baby fucking immediately leaves, and my grandfather starts waving over my family. They sit down, they eat there, everyone's watching them. It was just a freaking mess.
Now you can understand why nobody wants to be around us. Because that's how we are. But it's cool, we grow.
That was the old Freitas Effect.
We ain't like that no more. Anyways, cool. So that was how the turns tabled. Did I say it right that time?
Basically,
I fucking hope so.
How the turns have tabled.
So our main topic for today is about Father's Day. So I don't really know why we picked this day, like holiday. It's not really necessarily important to us because neither of us have children, and I'm not a father, and neither is Simon.
Not yet.
But we have one, so that's cool. But we wanted to talk about like the perspective of Father's Day from like our mom and from our dad, as our mom is like an Ethiopian immigrant and they don't really have Father's Day in Ethiopia, and our dad is just like the typical white American average Scot.
The average Scot.
The average Scot. What is Scot?
Scot, yeah.
Anyway, so let's deconstruct this. So we interviewed our mom and asked her some basic questions, and we're going to share some responses of what she said.
So, we are sitting here in the living room with Mother, dearest Hohete Freitas. So just to kick things off, I'm going to ask you, what was your first introduction to Father's Day?
Father's Day in America? First of all, we never had any Father's Day when I was in Ethiopia. And the first time I found out there is a Father's Day in America was 1992.
Awesome. So, when you heard in 1992 that there was this Father's Day, how did you feel about it?
I think it's nice because number one, we didn't grow up with Father's Day, and I came here, I see the children are celebrating Father's Day with their parents, and it was nice, respectful, loving, and nice tradition.
Yee. So do you remember your first Father's Day?
Yeah, I remember.
So what was that like?
The first Father's Day I celebrated was here in Boston for my father-in-law, and it was good because my father wasn't here, and that was my first Father's Day celebration with my in-laws family.
All right. So what did you guys do?
He gave him we gave him a card, Father's Day card, and we had lunch in his father's house, and we just celebrate the Father's Day celebration together with the family.
Nice. Are there holidays like this in Ethiopia? And if there aren't, do you think there should be?
We didn't have any Father's Day, like I said before, but right now they are having a Father's Day because some kids on my generation there wasn't, but this time the kids go back to Ethiopia and the people start go back and live in Ethiopia, and they start having all the holidays what they have in America, Father's Day, Mother's Day, even Valentine. They still having Valentine, and I was shocked to see that. But it's really good, especially Father's Day, Mother's Day is really good with the family.
Awesome. And then when Father's Day comes around, do you feel like there are expectations of you to do things?
For my father?
For your husband, for your father, for your kids, for just on this holiday, do you feel like people expect you to do things?
I think so, because it's a holiday. It's like one of the get-together party, family get-together day. So if my husband, it's a Father's Day, I'll be happy to do the Father's Day celebration, and my kids, and my dad, and it's really good, yeah.
Is it on? Cool. Okay, so when it is Father's Day in America, like, because I'm thinking about, like, when Kenyu was alive and when he was in Ethiopia, like, and, even now with him being, like, passing, like, how do you perceive Father's Day versus, like, how it was when he was far away from you? You know what I mean? Does that make sense, that question? Okay.
Yes, when I was here and my dad was in Ethiopia, and I see the celebration, the Father's Day with the family, with the children. I wish, like, I did that for my parents, my dad. And after a couple years, my parents came here, and I could be able to celebrate Father's Day with my dad and also with my mom. So I was really happy to do that because when they were alive, right now, they're not alive, and it's okay. I still remember them, I still love them, and yeah, it was nice, and it's not nice too sometimes.
So on this day, is there anything you do to like remember him, or do you just use that like on his like Memorial Day, or like how do you keep his legacy alive? And if you could also like give the listeners some context on like who he was and what he like what his role was in Ethiopia and how he contributed, and yeah, as like a father too, like how you saw him as a father and like what he actually was in his like job.
That's a nice question. It's not only about Father's Day. My father was, I'm proud of to be his daughter because my father is a famous, hard-working father, and he did so many things for his country, starting age 12 until he died, which is he was 88 years old when he passed away. For 72 years, maybe. Yeah, 12, yeah. So he was working for the government, and he was chairman of the Patriots. He was a mayor. He was he was everything. He loves his country. He fight for his country, and he is one of the best and the Christian and loving father, loving family, loved by everyone. Everybody still loves him. Also, I didn't. I don't celebrate Father's Day. After he passed away, but I always celebrate his birthday and his Memorial Day, the day he passed away. His birthday, I always donate money for the poor people, and his Memorial Day, we always send money, and my brother is doing it every year, feeding the poor people, pray on his Memorial Day, and always remember him. All of us, wherever we are, we always do the service for him, and also for my mom. I always remember their birthday and Memorial Day. But Father's Day is always Father's Day.
What was his exact title?
Yes, yes. His exact title was Qanyazmach Hizqeel Alamayehu. He was given that title by King Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia, and uh, his family is also Fitaurari, the Jazmach, Ras, and he was working for the government all his life. And the region, we are from Gojam, Devra Marcos, and my dad works all the town, no, not all, like most of the town in Gojam, by being like I don't know how to say, like mayor, lower than mayor, Warada, and he was Auraja for Metakel, and he's been serving as a civil for his country, and yeah, he was really a good a person working and trusted, and especially can I say it in Amharic? Ethiopia. Wow, today is Adwa Day. Adwa, everybody celebrating Adwa in America. So especially Adwa, Ethiopian and Italian war time. He was 12 years old when Italy came to Ethiopia to fight to take over, and he was too young, and his father died that year, and his mom and his father's ምንድነው የሚባለው civil no Gasha Jagre and family was taking him to save his life because he was known by that area, and the Italian soldiers were coming, to take over the country. So they went, and he came back, and he remember, and the dirty bomb, they put the dirty bomb, and that dirty bomb was all over him, his head and his shoulder. He showed us how he survived from the dirty bomb from Italian, and he still remember until he died. And he talks about how Italian came to fight and how they won, and even with my grandfather, which is my mom's dad, was the Jazmachale Jesus Flate, and they were in the war, and they beat the Italian, kicked them out. And my father's grandfather, his mom's father, was killed by Italian. To he doesn't want to go to the Italian, and he said like I rather die for my country by other than that being your slave. I mean, like controlled by you. So those. My family is really a fighter for their country, freedom, and good people.
Well, I really enjoyed Mom's interview a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had so much to say.
Yeah, what were the things about like what she said that kind of stuck out to you?
I was really I loved how much like she wanted to talk about her dad and like his history, and just like she really just got captivated, that's a word. Yeah, just by the story that she was even telling, like because there's just such a rich history with him, since he had to be like, he had so much crap happen when he was a kid that he had to just mature so fast and be in charge of so much stuff, even though he was only like 12 when his dad died. But yeah, it really just, it puts things in perspective.
Yeah, the stories of like Ethiopia are always so like fucking inspiring, and shows you like how passionate and like intense our people are. And it makes me think like, wow, I'm such a piece of shit, like I can't even just like wake up to get to work on time, like every fucking day.
I mean, Ethiopians are just like, in everything they do, they always just do it super over the top.
Everything
so when
is
they
so
love
extreme.
you,
Yeah.
they love you way too much, and like when they try way too hard, and they're so it's just like they make sure that everything is perfect, or that they just make sure that it's all gonna work. Like they think so much through.
It's so like. So, okay, I was at this, like, training thing at my job that was about, like, how to have conversations on race. And we were talking about what is, like, white culture. And obviously, like, the American dream comes up, and, like, pull yourself by the bootstraps, and this, like, sense of entitlement. Like, all this shit. Like, all of this came up.
Yeah.
And white people said this shit, not even just me. And we were... like... There was this like topic of like American individualism and how we're all like independents and we don't like reach out to community, because when I think of Black culture, I think of community and how we're always like trying to collaborate, and how it's always like ujima, support and love, and just like the opportunity to engage in each other's lives. Whereas when I think of white culture, it's like, oh, you got to go do that shit by yourself. Like, why the fuck would you even ask me? Like that's just kind of how it's always been. Even in our own household, Mom's always like, y'all niggas aren't going to do this. And it's not just because she's the mom. It's just like, us being like, well, we don't have to. So, like, we're not going to. Or maybe we're just, like, lazy. But, like, I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, so we want to share some things that our dad also said. And we asked him more, like, basic generic questions about Father's Day.
Okay, so we are here with Scott Freitas, the father of Simon and Azeb Freitas. Okay, Dad, so we're going to ask you some questions about Father's Day, because that's what our first episode is about. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to ask you a very simple question. What does Father's Day mean to you?
Father's Day is a day that you appreciate your father in America for American people.
Okay. So, how did that change when you became a father?
I expected my kids to appreciate me when they got old enough, and then I had to divide that appreciation with the appreciation I give my father. So, yeah, I don't know. I usually just call him, say Happy Father's Day, and that's good enough, and spend the day with my kids. That's what would be the change.
Cool. So do you have any like favorite memories of Father's Day from when you were a father or from when you were a child that like really stick out for you?
Yeah, the day your mother gave me my Orthodox study Bible, that was my favorite Father's Day. 'Cause I wanted that for like a long time, and she surprised me and she gave it to me.
Okay, so that's cool and interesting that your Father's Day memory is from your wife appreciating you as a father, and rather than one of your like children. I almost said students. Okay. So did you guys have any like Father's Day traditions?
Yeah, I mean, get a card, or when we were little, we'd make a card, or, have to get a present. That would be it. That would be it.
Do you like care about Father's Day? Is it like a day? Is it a day that you like look forward to, or like does it not make any difference?
Yeah, I do. I like Father's Day. At least, you guys are always here, so it doesn't matter. But for people who live far away, yeah, they're going to call their father. Maybe they weren't going to call him. So, yeah, I like it. I know it's commercialized and blah, 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 but yeah, I like it. It's a good day. Father's Day and Mother's Day. God bless them.
Do you think that people in other countries who don't have Father's Day would like do it the same way, or do you think that they would care? Like, you know how like typically in America it's like, oh, buy your dad a tie and give him a card and say I love you and shit. Like, do you think that if you grew up somewhere else it would like make a difference?
Can I say shit like you?
Yeah, you can.
I'm just kidding. No, I think eventually they would just become commercialized like us in America, but at least, like I said, if they didn't live near their dad, they might give a shit about him that day and call him and say Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Alrighty, so that was Scott and Freitas. So, what were like some things that he said that you vibed with?
What did Dad even like talk about?
Well, what do you feel about like what he said?
I thought it was pretty true.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty typical of what an American dad would like expect for Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I feel like he kept it pretty, basic and bland, but I mean, that's kind of how him and Papa are. So it makes sense that the way that they would want to celebrate their day is just to be chill and do nothing, since they're always working and painting and on their feet and in pain and whatever. So yeah, it's just the way that they celebrate themselves may not be as like, oh, we have to do everything and be so aware of who this person is and like prideful, like like an Ethiopian war person, like our like Kenyu, like the whole thing that Mom went on. But it's more of just like, okay, this person does a lot of things every single day that makes them tired, and this is their one day to celebrate them, so let's do what makes them happy.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think if I was an adult and people are like, let's do something, and I'm like fucking exhausted because all the shit that I do, I'd be like, let's just do nothing.
Yeah.
Or like something chill and low key, like I would love to do like a fishing trip.
Yeah.
If I was a dad.
Well, because that makes them happy.
But I mean, I'd still do that as a mom, so YOLO.
Yeah. Gender.
Yeah.
Such
but
a
like that
construct.
whole like tie bullshit, I'd just be like, no.
The what?
You know how people normally give their dads like a tie or something? I'd just be like, I mean, especially for like dad.
Have we ever given Dad a tie?
Yes.
We gave Dad a tie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done.
I didn't think we did.
You know, like kindergarten and shit, whatever.
Yeah. Before we knew Dad.
Yeah.
Dad doesn't wear ties.
So we decided to also ask our parents some questions together about their perspectives of like how Father's Day influences them.
Alrighty, Roo. So we are sitting here with Hohete and Scott Freitas now, and the first question for each of you. So Mom will answer it first, and then Dad. How has Father's Day changed since you've become parents?
I like Father's Day because I say my kids preparing for Father's Day, and when they were little, they asked me to go to the store and Mom, let's get the card for Dad and gift for Dad, and I love it because go with my kids shopping and buy gifts and cards and come and on holidays on the day Father's Day give it to him, and seeing that makes me happy, and I like it. It's a big change for me because I didn't grow up that way.
Okay, so how it changed for me when you guys were little babies, it didn't change at all. I still had to go to my father with my babies. But then when you guys got bigger, yeah, I started to expect presents, because it's like, hey, come on. it's my day. Give it up. But, yeah, that would be about it. And now that you guys are old, no, just give me a call. Say Happy Father's Day is good enough. Bless your heart.
Okay, so that kind of answers my second question, which was going to be, as we grew up, how did this holiday change for you? But Mom hasn't really answered the question, so yeah, Mom.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't go shopping with you guys. You do it your own. You do it your own. So, yep, that's it.
No, I have no addition.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, I was going to ask a question, but you can ask.
You can go first. I wrote mine down.
Okay, so my question is, that's a good one. My question is, what do you guys expect for the future when we have kids?
Yeah, basically, so as a grandchild, I've been a grandchild. Yeah, it's always fun to give your grandfather something. It's different than giving it to your father. One year I gave my grandfather like $10 because one year I gave him a card and it had nothing in it, and he was like, "Oh, that's what I'm worth." So the next year I put $10 in, and he's like, "You need this more than me." And he gave it back. So yeah, I expect moments like that.
Okay, that's a good one. Mom, you want to wait? Oh, what did I ask?
When we have kids, how do you expect Father's Day to change?
I just want to see you guys having kid and feel how your father feel, and being a father, and expect from the children. I want to see that movie.
It's gonna be a movie.
It's like a live movie.
Okay. So I'm going to give y'all a second to breathe because apparently we're living in a movie.
Mom got so excited when I asked that question. She's like, what?
Not yet. This is the trailer. This is us. Okay. All right. So my last question. I know that there was only about 2 years before Azeb existed. So you only really had, when you guys were married, year and a half. Yeah, y'all didn't really have too much.
Oh, I thought you were talking about before Simon existed.
No, before Azeb existed.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, y'all had 2 years of being together. Yeah. So what did you do in those 2 Father's Day before we were born?
Me? Okay. I see your father giving him a gift and go to their parent. I think to go to his father's house, parents' house. Seeing them Thais and him and his sister and him giving him a gift, and Johnny was in college. I didn't see him too much, so I watched them giving a gift and being there and see the tradition. So that was only for a couple of years before you guys come up born.
Did she say come out or come up?
Before we came out.
The incision. Like your mother said, we would go celebrate with your grandfather and whoever was around. Go out for dinner or just give a card and be at the house and give something and say, Happy Father's Day. But Father's Day is around St. Michael's time, and Mother's Day is around St. Mary's time. So I always make a joke at the church, and they love that it's Mother's Day, but next month is Father's Day, and it's St. Michael, and they say yes. They love St. Mary too, but yeah, they like that. It's like it matches up. So yeah, I got shout out to my saints out there. Yeah, right.
I have a question. So my question is, what was it like when I was born? So like the first year that you were a father, was it like a big hullabaloo, or like what was that? What did that? I don't know. Was that like a thing?
Yes, I remember because I've been watching that Father's Day, but we got a chance to have a baby, and her first Father's Day was really good for me because she was a baby, doesn't know anything about it, and I bought a card and say happy Father's Day, and we had dinner, and we went to his father's and said happy Father's Day again, and you were special, and yeah, we had fun.
Keyword were.
Well, no, I would say Azeb was the first grandchild, so she was like the bomb. And then yeah, sorry, there's a lot more grandchildren now. Sucks for you. And whatever your mother said, I really don't remember much of it because you were only like 7 months old, so it was a very stressful time. But I'm sure we brought you somewhere and said, yep, we're here. Happy Father's Day. Gave my father a card, and who knows? Maybe I went to the Cape because everybody was still alive. I don't know. A lot of people.
Okay. So, I think we're going to end there. Everybody died, apparently. Happy Father's Day. And this is the interview of both of our parents.
And happy St. Michael's.
Sorry, what?
Happy St. Michael's Day.
Oh, yeah. St. Mickey. Bye-bye.
So, those were the parental units. So, yeah, Azeb, how do you feel about Father's Day?
How do I feel about it? I think it's like one of those, just like those typical capitalist days where it's just like, let's spend a shit ton of money on something that says Father's Day, and when we could just be celebrating our parents every day in little ways and acknowledging them for all the shit that they do for us. I feel like it hasn't really ever been a big thing in our house. But, I do appreciate, like Dad in general. Like every day I know we like bag on him when people are like, oh, your dad's so funny, and I'm just like, no, he's not, because all the trauma, lol, love you, but but like, he is funny, I guess, sometimes. But beyond that, like I really appreciate Dad's ability to show emotion in front of us, and I feel like that's been a big thing that a lot of people don't see. Like, I was having this conversation the other day of just like, have you ever seen your dad cry? And like, yeah, I have, like, a lot.
Multiple times.
Like, growing up
Every
and now.
movie.
He a grown-ass man. Yeah, just coming home and crying with Dad while watching movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice to like have that experience, not just because somebody died. There are people who go their whole lives without seeing their dad ever cry. Ever.
Yep.
And it's like, that's really fucked up. Like, y'all should be able to have emotions.
Exactly. Like,
seriously.
Yeah, and I'm just happy that like Dad allows himself to have emotions, that it's like, because even when we talk to him about like when he comes to see us in our shows and like, you're dancing, my acting, like he says how he's always crying in the audience, and it's just like, yeah, because it's just, he's just so proud of us, and it's like, it's nice. Like, like even if he doesn't like talk about it all the time, like, with that kind of thing, it's just like, he lets himself feel and be in the moment for things.
Yeah,
and,
like it is okay for y'all to be passionate and to have feelings.
Yep.
Like feel your feelings.
yeah, because it's so much healthier to just sit in a grown ass audience that will judge you and cry than just to push down like, nope, I don't have to feel anything.
And
like,
he always tells me like, if you feel something, just feel it.
yeah.
I remember I was like, oh, I was about to cry about this thing, and he was like, just let it out. When it's coming, you just have to let it out. And I was just like, I will. Rather than like internalizing it and saving it for later or just exploding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to come out in a place that it's not a good place for it to come out.
Right. Like you'll be in the
will
middle
never
of dinner
help.
and then you'll just like pass the breadsticks.
Yeah. I mean, I know people that are just like, you know, they go to work or they go to school and then like someone asks them like, how you doing? And then it's just like, how am I doing? And then it's just like,
and then you're
everything
like, oh,
explodes.
shit, I'm not doing.
Yeah.
I'm not even doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, you don't want to have that kind of talk with someone when you're just like out getting lunch instead of like you're in your room hanging with a friend and you're like, I'm not really doing that great. Like, you know, it's like just feel it when you're feeling it.
But even that question is so like superficial. The whole like, oh, how are you today? You don't want to actually know how the person's doing.
I tell people. I'm just straight up like,
I'm real about it when
Yeah.
I respond. I'm like, and then I run away.
yeah, I mean, because, you know, you don't
There's,
have
like,
to
no more
give more
context
than they
you need.
need. If it's
Yeah.
just like, how are you doing? I'm not that great today. Pushing through.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like your
'Cause it
best
sends
friend,
off
you're
the
like,
vibe.
let's go in a closet. I'm going to cry for 5 minutes and you're going to hug me. Like, you know,
Right.
it's like, it depends who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, at work it's different. Because like if you see somebody crying at work, it's so awkward because you're just like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah. It's a lot. I mean, unless you're like a social
Unless
worker.
y'all are
like,
friends, yeah. Yeah.
Like
But like
me,
your superior, it's
but-
like,
Oh, yeah.
do I hug you? Or do I just like smile a little awkwardly and go
Yeah.
back into the bathroom stall?
I feel like at work it's more of just kind of like I'll give like a, you know, I still see someone in pain. I'm like, give them a little like
That
optimistic
sympathy
smile. Like,
yeah.
yeah, things do suck.
Yeah.
I have feelings too, but I'm sorry.
Raise
I
your
can't help.
fist.
Yeah.
I'm here.
We are together.
We're in this shit together.
But back to Father's Day.
Sorry. So sorry.
Huge
God.
tangent.
I think that's pretty much it, honestly. I think we touched everything. Any takeaways?
Yeah, one takeaway that I would want people to have after listening to this is kind of what you said earlier about, you know, it's just like, you don't entirely need this one day to show your appreciation for your parent. Like, you should be doing it anytime that they, you know, are impacting your life positively. Like, you know, it's just show appreciation when it's due, because that's how you build like long lasting healthy relationships with people. And if, you know, you're always just interacting with your parents with like, I need money, I don't like you,
Right.
you're taking, you know, stuff away from me, like you're asking too much, then it's just like, it's not going to be a happy life. Like, you know, it's
Right.
like you want to try to create the moments that you're going to remember when you don't have these people anymore. So.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, as we get older, I feel like we develop different relationships with our parents.
Yeah.
And I've become so much more close with mom and dad in my like adult life now, and through college and through high school. Well, actually, no, in high school I was like, you know, typical teenager. I hate
Yeah.
you. Get away from me.
Yeah.
But they were still my homies. And now I'm more like, oh shit, I miss you a lot all the time. And I'm like, make me dinner when I need it. But then there's like mom when she's like, here is all the injera for like 2 months.
No,
and I'm
yeah.
just like, Jesus, I'm not even going to eat this.
Well, because you're just like, oh, mom, you know, like, if you made chicken, that'd be great. And she's like, okay, so I got to make a meal for 14 people. And it's like, what?
Literally.
Like,
But yeah, like I really do value the relationship that I have with mom and dad, and how I can just text them and Snapchat them and tag them and shit on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, like who is really that connected to social media and technology at that age?
even if they don't.
But also
fully
like even
understand
like sending them memes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just funny, like the way that the world works. But I love that we have that with mom and dad. And I hope that people consider what their relationship is like with their parents and how they want it to be, because, you know, not everybody's parents are the fucking greatest. Some people suck. Some people are in a part of their lives, and you have other people who are authoritative parental guidance like figures in your life who aren't blood related to you or gave birth to you.
Yeah.
So I really want to also say, like, implore about your family history. Ask your family members about like any of like your grandparents, or find out about like your history and like how you can celebrate and commemorate your family tree.
This is not a plug for Ancestry.com.
Yeah, don't do that shit.
That is the FBI trying to figure out everything about us.
We know you're listening.
I know you're there.
Okay.
Anyways.
Blink. Yeah, no, but yeah, I think that's all I got. Do you have any announcements?
Announcements.
Okay, so anyways, our announcements,
How
I
does
guess.
Patreon?
Nigga. Huh?
How do you Patreon?
I was just going to say, like, if you like what you heard today, find us on the socials, tag us, buy some stickers, peep our website, and donate to our Patreon. We'll have more information about how you can do that another day or on our social medias.
I mean, yeah, just click the episode.
Yeah.
And it'll be in the description how to follow us and how to find all our social media accounts.
Yeah. All right, that's all.
Ready,
Thanks
Rue?
for joining us. Have a great week.